So today we're going to present the results of a recent study that was published in a Nature journal about South Pole, which is one of the last frontiers on Earth. So what you can see here is a geological map of Gondwana, and you can clearly see that we have a lot of different colors in all these continents. So here we have East Antarctica, Australia, India, Africa and South America that were part of Gondwana about 200 million years ago. And you can see the stark contrast in East Antarctica. Everything is basically white except along the coast. And this is because effectively in Antarctica, we only have small amounts of outcrop along the coast. So we need to use geophysical data to infer what lies beneath the ice. So whilst, let's say, we know a fair amount about Antarctica within Gondwana, as we go further back in time, up to about 1 billion years ago, we think that Antarctica, East Antarctica in particular, was adjacent to another major continent, North America, called Laurentia. And you can see here in this purple color that East Antarctica was adjacent to Australia. So it's particularly important to study the South Pole region to try and understand how the tectonics of this old supercontinent, Rodinia, evolved. As we move in this recent reconstruction to about 700 million years ago, you can see that a huge ocean has now opened. This is effectively the Paleo-Pacific Ocean between East Antarctica and Australia and Laurentia. So what did we know about the region of South Pole? Well, actually, the answer is very little. And even satellite data was missing at South Pole because of the inclination of the orbit. So what you can see here is the European Space Agency satellite GOES that collects gravity data. Those are the colors that you see here in the map. And on the right-hand side, you can see a map of the whole of Antarctica that was built from airborne surveys. So you can see that despite over 30 years of investigations, South Pole still remained one of the least explored areas. The same really holds true when we look at magnetic data. So this is a recent international compilation of magnetic data that we use to peer beneath the ice sheets to derive the geology. And you can see that the South Pole region is also highly devoid of data. So what did we do? Well, as part of a major international project led by the British Antarctic Survey and funded by the European Space Agency, that was performed together also with the Danish Technical Institute and with Norwegian support, we flew a rather anomalous radial survey around South Pole to fill in this major gap. And what you can see here on the bottom is the Twin Otter aircraft of the British Antarctic Survey that was used. And this is fully equipped with radar systems to look through the ice, magnetic and gravity systems to look at the geology under the ice. So what did you obtain? Well, a tantalizing new magnetic anomaly map of the South Pole. And here you can see our huge surprise that we published today. So you can see these colors here, these reddish colors. These delineate the extent of the old Mozon continent, the Precambrian core of East Antarctica. And instead, you can see these bluish colors with these reddish dots in here and linear features. This is a huge embayment that we call the Pensacola embayment. So to our huge surprise, although over 30 years of investigations, we have seen a relatively straight margin of the craton, basically in East Antarctica, when we get to South Pole, it almost looks like a huge bite of crust has been taken out. We have a huge embayment here in the margin. And this feature that we discovered for the first time at South Pole is actually of major global significance. In fact, when we look at North America now in Rodinia, we can see that there's also there a huge embayment known as the Ouachita embayment that formed when Rodinia broke up from East Antarctica. And in a similar fashion, we see this type of irregular margin also along the side of Australia, created by the so-called rifting process that heralded and accompanied the breakup of Rodinia. So the results that we got at South Pole basically change our view of this margin of the Mawson continent and the edge of the Mawson continent. And they're also very important because understanding the extent of the Precambrian craton with respect to this newly discovered Pensacola embayment at South Pole will have significant implications also for understanding geothermal heat flux under the ice sheet, under the modern ice sheet. And I think this is quite fascinating, basically, that tectonic features that were created probably around 700 million years ago, or 650 million years ago, still can influence the ice sheet as we have it today.